Most people are overlooking this opportunity. XPL, or the plasma token, is getting silently acquired by the whales. The retail investors are betting on falling prices. The whales, the big guys, the market makers, they are loading up. And very likely we will see a turnaround in the price very soon. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but I want to share the interesting data points. At the bottom, we see the volatility. At the top, we see the XPL price. When volatility spikes, we tend to see a turnaround. Currently, we are appreciating and volatility has normalized. So has the funding rate, by the way. But isn't it funny how a token that long-term tends to go down in price, it still tends to have a positive funding rate most of the times. Now, when the price goes down long-term, usually the average retail investor just bets on a falling price. So there should be more shorts than longs. The funding should be negative. The shorts have to pay the longs. This is not what we see over here. We see actually that there's also the counter side. The market makers are likely building up long positions. The retail investor is betting on falling prices, but instead of being that reflected in the market, we see positive funding rate. Now let's get into the details what this means for the future price development and how we can make money from that. Hi, my name is Gerhard. I've been in the crypto space for the last 8 years. I hit my first million 3 years ago, and it is mainly through active trading of altcoins. My track record is 100% transparent. I started to publish my trades in real time 2 years ago. This is the performance, and on average, I made 5% per trade. Held a position for 27 days, and this is over a sample size of 171 trades. And this is the track record. Every single trade is locked, and this is updated in real time on the link page down below. So that's here in track record. I'm sharing all of this because I don't think that many people here on YouTube are willing to be that transparent. Now, Plasma is mainly used for payments and stablecoin transactions. And there is this big fuss around the launch of Plasma 1. So there are different rewards based on how much transaction volume you make and also based on how much Plasma you are staking. Interestingly enough, when we search for the XPL token, we get a lot of scam posts. But if you are still on X, formerly known as Twitter, then feel free to follow this account here. That's at Bitcoin Strat. Make sure that you don't follow a fake account. Now here's the ugly picture around Plasma. This is the total value locked of the Plasma chain over time. This peaked at $6 billion and since then went down by almost 90%. The number of daily transactions on the Plasma chain also went to a bare minimum. Yes, there is Plasma 1, and yes, it does see long-term stablecoin inflows. Still, the price tends to go down long-term. This is now XPL in US dollars. And here is the same chart measured versus the rest of the altcoin market. So this is not just the altcoins in general going down. XPL is doing worse than most other alts. Yes, the decline isn't as bad anymore as it used to be, but the trend is still very bearish. Now, where does this trend come from? As so often with many altcoins, it's token inflation. We used to have 1.8 billion XPL tokens in September of last year. Now we are already at 2.6 billion. And the big question is all of this additional supply getting bought by the retail investor? The answer obviously is no. Otherwise the chart wouldn't look like this. The issue is that going forward, we still have token inflation. In fact, the team and investors didn't even have their token unlocks yet. Now, there is a chance that maybe they have already cashed out using over-the-counter deals. So selling XPL and doing so for a discount for outside investors. And then those outside investors, they just short the token, lock in the discount. And that shorting of the token, that brings the spot price come down today already. Now, it looks like this is an obvious case. We've got an asset that goes down over time and that has high token inflation. In general, I like to bet on falling prices of most altcoins because most altcoins tend to underperform Bitcoin most of the time. We can also hedge our altcoin bets. So when we bet on a falling altcoin price, we can at the same time bet on Bitcoin going up. And so no matter what the market does, when the market goes up, when Bitcoin goes up, and then the altcoin goes up as well, because we've got a long position and we've got a short position, those two positions tend to cancel each other out. So we are left with the idiosyncratic movements of XPL. That's the idea. That's what I usually do with most altcoins. I just go short the altcoin that's highly inflating, that's doing bad, and I go long Bitcoin and I trade the delta. There is a problem doing that for XPL though, and that's the market cap. The market cap of Plasma is only 160 million. And that's a level where a short squeeze is extremely easy to induce. When an asset has that little market cap and it is available on the perpetual futures, it can see very violent price increases. And this might happen very, very soon. Check out this. In the last 24 hours, we only had 15 million worth of trading volume on the spot market. On the perpetual futures market, we had 360 million worth of trading volume. Much, much more. Now, we've already established how the funding rate is positive, even though the trend is clearly negative. I don't think that a lot of retail investors are betting on a rising price here. However, every now and then we get those spikes in volume, which can be extreme, right? This year was 12 billion worth of trading volume, which pushed up the price quite a bit from 77 cents all the way to $1.63. But this recent price increase is not yet a short squeeze. Actually, there were very few short liquidations. And have a look at the open interest, so the amount of bets on the price. This seems to be very low, and there is correlation between the price and open interest. But actually open interest is not that low, relatively speaking. It's currently at 123 million. And again, remember, the market cap is 160 million. It takes much less than $1 to move the market cap by $1, especially for a token that tends to be not that liquid on the spot market. What that means is, I believe that the market makers are buying up the token. They are getting into long positions on the perpetual futures market. The retail investor is betting on a continuation of a falling price because of all of that token inflation. And yes, very long term, the price will go down. But the risk of now betting on falling prices to then get short squeezed is getting higher and higher by the day. The ratio of 130 million of open interest versus a market cap of 160 million, that ratio is extremely high. Nobody cares about Plasma right now. This is the number of mentions in social media over time. And here's the number of creators talking about Plasma over time. And the sentiment is getting very, very negative. But maybe we will see an opportunity very soon. I've also backtested the best moving averages for Plasma. This is the combination of slow moving averages versus fast moving averages. The best combination is here, the 52-day versus 57-day simple moving average. It created an outperformance that's very consistent. And so this is where we are right now. The shorter moving average is still below the longer term moving average, but we might get a golden cross in the not so distant future. And then maybe the selling pressure will ease because the momentum isn't as negative anymore. And maybe then we get some news. Maybe then the short squeeze will get induced by the big guys. I'm not saying that you have to buy a token like this today. What I am saying though is that betting on a falling price or a continuation of this price to go down is not a good idea. I think it's too risky to short XPL. The signs are all aligning. There's a lot of leverage in the asset. And that leverage can push up the price very, very soon. So yeah, as said, I'm publishing my trades in real time. Every single trade can be verified. There's an entry message, there's an exit message. So that's here on Telegram. But you can also get those trading messages directly in your email inbox. This is, for example, when I shorted render. And then in this particular example, I actually lost 10%. Interestingly enough, on average, I actually have almost the same number of losers versus winners. The reason why the strategy of shorting altcoins works so well long term is because the winning trades are just larger than the losing trades on average. The average result per trade is plus 5% without any leverage. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $125 per month. There's also a 7-day money back guarantee. In case you don't like premium, just email me over here within the first 7 days and I'll refund you. No questions asked. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. Like would be very much appreciated as well. Helps the channel grow. See you next time on YouTube or see you on premium. Link to that pops up here on the screen. See you next time. Cheers.